Hello, guys, and welcome to the show. Today is Friday, December 21st, 2018. We're almost up to Christmas time. Oh, Merry Christmas, everybody. Listen, let's get started, and let's open up the charts right here and take a look at what's going on in the world. Let's take a look first at silver. You know, silver is still staying in that range, but it's a little bit on the high side of that range. It's been in around 1450. It's at 1466. It's down 8 cents so far on the day. Not a whole lot to talk about there. So let's move on to gold. Gold is the same thing. It's at 1259. The range it's been staying in is somewhere around maybe 1230, 1240 something. It's 1259. It's down only 30 cents. That's like nothing. 30 cents. So now let's move on and let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is retaining its gains that it made. And what we see here is, we see ever since this big candle right here took it up to around just over $4,000. It's been holding that pretty good. It had one little dip right here where it went down to 38.85. And it had another little dip right here where it went down to 38.85 roughly again. But then it bounced straight back, and it's been holding it all day, this range in around 40. It's at 40.42 right now. So it's doing a good job of holding its gains. That's a very bullish signal, you know. But we're going to have to wait and see because we're not out of the bear market just yet. I predict somewhere around $8,000 or $8,500. I'm gonna say, hey, you know what? We're out of the bear market. But until we get that, I'm going to consider us to still be in the bear market. I know an awful lot of people out there saying, oh, Bitcoin's back in a bull market. No, it's not yet. If we take a look at the long-term chart here, what we can see is this precipitous fall in the price of Bitcoin, and we can see that this is just a little tiny bounce on the end is all it is. I mean, she could slump over again. But it sure is looking like she is starting to stabilize now more. And we don't see the bearish energy so much like we've seen. One of the reasons why I say that is if we focus in here and we take a look at this bounce right here, this little bounce right here, and we're taking a look at this second bounce that we just had, the levels of the tops of the two bounces are roughly the same level, just over $4,000. And the bottom was 31.22, okay? So, you know what we might see? We might actually see a wave pattern form here where Bitcoin stabilizes in at a price of around $3,500. So it might start doing like a wave pattern where and the waves consensually getting smaller and smaller again. So right now the bottom of that wave would be 31.22, and the top of the wave would be around 41.75. And the middle of the wave would be around 3,600. So we might see it form a pattern around that, and we might see the price stabilize for a little while, maybe for a couple weeks or a month. You know what I mean? While it prepares for its next whatever it's going to do. That's what markets do. They'll stabilize. Now see how it stabilized here? It did the same thing up around 63, 6,400. If we go back, let's take a look here. If we go back a little bit, okay, right here, it stabilized in around this price, around 63, 6,400. Then we had a drop. This time it might stabilize in around a price of about 3,500 for a little while. Okay? Time will tell, but I think that the further we move into this bear market, the closer we're getting to the next bull market. So let's take a look now at cryptocurrency market capitalizations, and we're looking at $133 billion with a Bitcoin dominance of 53%. We're looking at all the coins basically going up. Bitcoin Cash, which is a recipient of probably the largest raise in price. But let me see, we got a 13% raise in price in Bitcoin SV. Basically, The way I see it, these are Bitcoin clones. Anyway, Litecoin is not a Bitcoin clone. Litecoin is its own man. It's got Script as its underlying protocol. Bitcoin's got SHA-256. Litecoin's got Script, and Litecoin's doing rather well. Litecoin's up to $32 a piece, but that's still cheap for Litecoin, considering where I think Litecoin is going to go in the next number of months. Anyway, let me take a look. Monero is at $54.32. So these coins are doing really good. Now let's move on and take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today. And what we see is the Dow Jones started out with a bang. It went straight up there like a spike, and it made it all the way up to over 100 points up to the good. Now that's a fairly weak rally for really, considering what we've had, the down days we've had, and now it's up 86 points. I'm going to tell you right up front, that's weak. It's very weak, really. And I think most of what it represents is the people out there who have been used to buying on the dip, and they're buying thinking that the stock market's going to go to the moon. They're going to make a profit. I think the wind's going to get taken out of their sails pretty soon, because what they're doing now is pretty weak compared to what they were. If you were to go back 4 or 5 months ago, they had a lot more energy, a lot more ba-boom when they used to buy back in, you know. Now they're kind of tentative. They don't want to catch a falling knife, and there's less of them that are buying back in, trying to catch that fallen knife, trying to catch a ride up in the market, you know. But this is thinking that the market is still bullish, and there's getting less and less of them out there. They're getting weeded out. You can see they've only been able to raise the market 86 points today on these what would be considered bargain prices for equities, and it just ain't working, boys. You got to start selling on the rally. So what they've done is they've created a little bit of rally, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we see people come in and start selling on this little tiny rally that they've created, and later today the stock market go into the red. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's take a look at the at crude oil today, and it's just been a steady decline in price ever since we hit $76.20. Look at it, just down, 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 and it's still down today. It's down 25 cents, which is a half of a percentage point down on sweet light crude oil. Now let's take a look at bonds and rates. And what we're seeing here is we're seeing the last little while we've been seeing the yield curve start to invert, but today it's moving in the opposite direction again a little bit. The long end of the yield curve is going up today. And the short end's falling, and that takes away from the inversion. But it could all shift because they're not real big numbers yet putting in today. They're only small numbers. They're only on the long bond, it's up 0.08. So that's not very much, and on the U.S. 10-year, it's only up 0.01. The 5 years unchanged, so it's not a big moving day. Yeah, only one that's moving any amount is the U.S. 3-month, and it's moved 0.1, so 0.11. So that's not no big movements. Later in the day, we might see more excitement come into the bond market. Now, you know, they've been buying bonds. That's what's pushed these rates down. They've been buying bonds big time. And the reason why is it shows fear in the markets. And in fact, they've been buying the short end of the yield curve. And the thing is this shows that they're not putting any faith in treasuries for the longer term. You know? And let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. We're looking at 96.66. 96.66 is up just a little bit. She had a dip down where she went down to 96.27. And then she's responded back up from that to 96.67. Now we're going to take a look at Deutsche Bank. Now, take a look at this. Deutsche Bank stock went really off the last couple days. It's fell down under €7. 6.97 euros. Okay, well, okay, it just took a little tiny bounce up to 7.02 euros, but still, this is probably on top of Commerzbank and Deutsche Bank merger. Now, I went in this morning and taken a look here at the Commerzbank Deutsche Bank merger talks. And strangely enough, I haven't had any news on this for the past 9 days or 8 days. There's been nothing. I can't pick anything up, any news stories on it. And what I'm wondering is how is this merger coming along? I'm not getting any what's this story right here? I've never seen this one. This is only 4 days old, this one here. Deutsche Bank near-term merger with Commerzbank unlikely, says Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse analyst John Peace lowered the price target on Deutsche Bank. Okay, they're not going to let me in to see this article from Street Insider. Deutsche Bank near-term merger with Commerzbank unlikely, says Credit Suisse. I can't get any more on that, so I don't really know what it's about. But I do find it very odd that we're not getting any news on this merger between Commerzbank and Deutsche Bank. And now Deutsche Bank stock has been really falling a lot, and it's down to around €7. I set a price target on this stock. If it falls below €6, I figure that the bank's maybe perhaps go into free fall. We got to wait and see what happens with this situation. There's not enough available news at this point in time. I do know that these are both failing institutions. They're going to try to slap together two failing institutions. Germany is. I mean, I only see this as a maneuver to buy time. Because once you slap together these two institutions, then when they both start to fail together, like 6 months down the road from now, then what do you do? You know, I mean, it's a last-minute, last-ditch attempt to try to save something that's dying. Anyway, listen, they might be able to slap them together and make things carry on for a few more months, maybe in 6 months or 8 months. And so, if they're able to do that, then Deutsche Bank won't be our black swan. But if they're not going to do that, well, I mean, it's just the whole thing is just this thing, Deutsche Bank, if it actually goes down, can carry the whole system down with it, or cause a tremendous amount of chaos within the system. And the system is so unstable right now to begin with, I don't think it can take a lot of chaos. Let's just take one more quick peek at the Dow before we go. 115 points. She's 115 points to the good. I don't know. I'm just half expecting it to go to later in the day, maybe to go down again, start going down again. Once they run out of these people that are trying to buy, these buyers that are getting in there now. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.